Hello. It's been a while. Fortunately, couldn't do any videos the past couple of months. A lot of things changed. Just recap on why I stopped doing videos. I mean, I was editing until 9 p.m., so that was not gonna do it. I had to step back from that for a while. Don't get me wrong, that rewatching my videos were very helpful of how I trade, what to look for and such, and especially like the L2. And also, I did have a career change, so it was a few weeks before I stopped, but the career change actually escalated to be a little bit more problematic. So I had to refocus all of that to work. Plus, like the market changed in May. I actually didn't record any of that. I did lose, I would say, 25% of my account, and then I just went, you know what? I'm just gonna stop. I need to refocus everything. Come back at a later time. Took pretty much almost all my money out of my margin account, and reallocated to paying back my loans, fund my side accounts, my cash account, my IRA, Roth IRA. Actually been focusing on building my dividends account to small and very small amounts, and also been changing my formats here. You might have noticed that I am using higher levels of time frames. So it's like this is on Nasdaq futures, and I'm doing the weekly and daily. Down here is 5 minutes, and here's also daily for like the few like 3 months. But normally on the day trading side, so if I'm doing like analysis on what to do for the next day, this is where I go and look at the setup and see how it can move for the next day or potentially move for the next day. So my normal setup now is a 5-day 15 minute and a 10-day 30 minute. So probably in like when I do the real trading, we'll see it. But this is my current setup right now. So you got 30 minutes. You can tell that the higher time frame and what they can potentially move. Doesn't give you much detail, but it's been working with this low volume market. And then you got the 15 minute, slightly a bit more detail, uh, and that gives me an idea of like when to jump in and such. So like for example, if there's this big wick, I will look here and jump in. So that's 9:30, and right here is the 9:30. Probably would have been right around here. Jumped in, probably exit once I see this double top. And right here, this is a 5 minute for today. Today is a Saturday, so that's why it's loading. But just for purposes, like demo purposes, this is what I typically look at. Tape reading, L2 and the price actions right here, and news as usual. On the sides, I do have everything on daily now, and if I were to switch over to um, a detailed view, I would usually use around like 30 minutes, an hour, sometimes 15 minutes if there's volume on the ticker. And I have pretty much the futures and indices at the top of each of my screen, and the rest is market movers and a few that are like, for example, Cloudflare on the side because it was bullish, Netflix on the side, but everything else is more like Nvidia, AMD, the semis, which is my favorite sector to either go long or short. And then you have Apple, number one market mover. Uh, Microsoft, definitely number two. Amazon, Google, so they have like and Tesla, so about 4 to 5 of the top market movers. And then I do have Meta on the side because it's on a, I would say, on channel training. So I've been looking at it, identifying the channel training for shorts and longs and when to enter and such. But yeah, so going back to what I've been really doing, so aside from like the the small day trading. Actually been using the cash count 3,000 only, not like anything big with my same like my margin account. And I split into 2 days, so about like 1,500 each day on my cash account. That way I can cycle my buying power on a daily basis. And realistically, I've only been doing 1 to 5 shares just to get used to the new market, the low volume, get used to my new setup. And so far, the setup rate has been very profitable. The downside is I do need to make sure I am more confident in myself when I call these out, because like coming from us faster time frame, the 1 minute, the 5 minutes, 2 minutes actually, I even tested 2 minutes. Uh, they will only work for me if there's volume. However, because I so used to fast pace, I do have some emotions going, so fear. So when a ticker goes down, so let's say for example, let's say on the daily, I was looking at a breakout right here. So this is an ABC setup. A, high move. B, a down move. C, which is like it's bouncing off support, and then D, a rip up. So I was looking at this, and then uh, right around here, I think that day. Let's see if I can pull that up on the 15. I think it was this one. Yep, 1300. Yeah. So if I were to enter here, it's like normally on like a higher time frame, you can see it can go higher. So like this. But because this week, during that time, it looks like it was coming down. So it looks more like this, but um, kind of hard to explain, I guess, in like when this so static. But once I see something like this or this, and I get stopped out, and then next thing I know, it pops back up. When I know it's not gonna go that far because of momentum. It's probably just like people taking profit. So that kind of stuff I need to still work on. So definitely the risk management, the pain in this market, the holding pain is very painful. Um, there's some times where I would see it go. So I'm also doing options. I'll talk about that in a bit. So in one of my options, I jumped in practicing, so on the breakout, and then like say if I enter right here, I would see the pain come down here. So that could have been about, let's say, a couple of thousands, um, thousands, and then before it bounced back up, it would just stop me out. And pretty much anything really, like my cash count, the regular, like even just 1 share, 2 shares, 5 shares, my option side. Except I don't do options with real money. I've been doing options with paper money, so just more of trying to understand how option works, since I never done options, especially with me going to a higher time frame. It just makes more sense to learn options at the same time as trying to get used to this new market. Plus, there's a lot of a lot of news catalysts going on, like Taiwan, the elections in November, uh, oil on holidays for travel. I mean, there's a lot of things that been trying to put piece together as well, like politics and any bills and such, and the China news. Just pretty much just trying to combine that with my technical analysis and refine my trading. So that's why I also go to a higher time frame, aside from not being able to read the lower time frames, such as 1 minute and 5 minutes easily due to low volume market. Um, Yeah, other than that, yeah, so been learning paper trading, just to understand everything. Just only started so far in paper trading. I think I got 5 out of 6 green. Uh, 3 are still in waiting. So like one of them is Amazon on the downside. So my analysis right here. Let me show you. Let's go back to daily. Yep, so it is about to hit a resistance level right here. So you can see in this line, let me create one. So this is a support that turned into a resistance on the weekly. So you can see one right here. Let me see if I can zoom in better. Yep, so right here, right here, right here. This actually became a support turned resistance, bounced off, but look at it. It's hovering. It came right back down and still underneath it. Now it did go all the way down here, bounce, ripped up, but look, it rejected. So on the daily, you can see right here, it rejected that. And also, I am seeing a head and shoulder. So shoulder one, head, and a potential shoulder might be forming in the next few days. So that's why I looking at Amazon for a put. So in the day trading side is short selling, but with options, I don't have to worry about uh, the like overnight fees. So just practicing that on the paper trading. Another one is Tesla. Tesla, I was able to get in right about 900, but I thought it would bounce at 880, so I took my put out on that, and then it went down further. And then once it came down to closer to 150, I noticed another head and shoulder as well. So on daily, see shoulder one, head, and if maybe in a few days, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe a week or two from now, we might see another shorter. Plus, next week it's FOMC, or no, sorry, not FOMC, CPI data. So we'll see what that happens. And this one I just can't read. It's a weekly, but it doesn't really give too much detail on this part. But right here is where I'm banking on. Don't remember the other ones, but oh, Meta. Meta, going back, so I did talk about Meta earlier. On the downside, it is channel trading. So if we look at the weekly chart, notice how it's bouncing between, let's see, 154-ish to, I would say, closer to 173. Yeah, 173. Because I don't count this week. I mean, if I were to count this week, it needs to bounce more from these guys, but these guys are hovering right below 173. So with that said, over here you notice there's a large wick, and over here this is a doji to the downside. Uh, Not the ideal doji I was looking for, but it's a potential downside, and this is a completion of a head and shoulder right here. Shoulder one, head, shoulder coming down, probably will bounce at the low 150s or mid 150s, and that's what I'm looking for. So I did a put on that too. So those are my practice right now. As for everything else, so the reason why I jumped back in is, let me go back to NASDAQ. So I actually had an alert around right around this area, maybe 113, 300, 113, or sorry, 1300, yeah, around 13,300 and 13,400s, and I had a trigger there. So I, if I actually had, if it triggers, I will uh, put money back into my margin account and start again. Now, a lot of people don't agree with how I do this, and I don't really care. So what I did was I took money back out of the 401k, about 20k or 21k, I can't remember exactly, but it's enough to get me back on my feet. Because I'm gonna move the 3,000 from my cash account over to my main day trading account, so it's all focused right there. Uh, but yeah, people would probably say, don't take your loan, blah blah blah. I mean, when I put my money back out, it was in the lows. So when it was in the lows and it came back up, I mean, my 401k jumped up close to about 20k even after I put in money in. So I thought it was like, you know what? There's gonna be a bull trap right here pretty soon, maybe, and I want to be ready for that bull trap and short on the downside because I don't know about you all, but I see a bull trap in the market. There's a lot of negative news, even though everything's rallying. I mean, during this day, end of July, it was rallying like crazy. Even this day, beginning of August, on low volume summer trading. So that tells me money is moving in, but not by retail traders. It's intuitional or is institutional banks algorithms. So when people get trapped on the long side, especially retail, everything's gonna come down. So using that knowledge, I decided to set like a trigger down up here. Actually, I had multiple trigger. I set it for SPY. I set it for QQs. QQs actually was first to trigger at 320, I think. I had it set. Dow Jones also. I think I had it at 33,000. No, 33, 300 ish around there. SPY, I was more of a, I guess, careful about where I put. So that the SPY and the or S&P 500 futures ES, they're the only ones that did not trigger because I said up to SP ES is at 4,300 and SPY is at 430. None of those triggered, none of those hit. They were close, but my Nasdaq, the techs, triggered, and a lot of the 401k stocks that they use are actually tech. So yeah, so right now I'm technically selling high on my 401k when I took the loan, and if it comes back down, I'm ready for a short. And if you see my previous video, you can see how well I can pick the levels at if I can get the momentum and have the confidence to hold. Uh, yeah, so we'll be back pretty soon. Hopefully next week. I'm just waiting for everything to transfer over and see what the market do. Definitely not gonna be doing a video every single day, just because it's just too much stuff to do. But yeah, so yeah, practicing options still. We'll be back hopefully next week. If not, definitely right before any bear traps happen, and gonna ride that momentum down with everybody. All right. See you next time.